All right, let's look at another problem from Chapter 7, Section 3. It says a retailer wants to estimate with 99% confidence the number of people who shop at his store. A previous study showed that 24% of those interviewed had shopped at his store. He wishes to be accurate within 3% of the true proportion. The minimum sample size necessary would be 1,100. So this is a true or false question. Now it tells us right here we are looking for minimum sample size. Okay, and we want to know the minimum sample size. And this is a p hat and q hat problem because it tells us the study showed that 24% interviewed had shopped at his store. That means they are giving us the p hat as a percentage, and we have to change it to a decimal. So that would be 0.24. We're also going to need q hat for this. So remember, q hat is 1 minus p hat. For that one, you end up with 0.76. Now we're looking for sample size again. If you look at the chart, notice that it has z sub alpha over 2. So we are using the z numbers for this one. The other thing we need is the e on bottom. Okay, we need this error. And if you look up at the problem, it says they want to be accurate within 3%. So our e is going to be 0.03. Don't forget to change it to a decimal. You must do that first. That gives us the error. We want to be accurate within 3%. So now let's plug this in an equation. We are going to have n equals p hat, which is 0.24, times q hat, which is 0.76. And that is going to be times z sub alpha over 2 for 99% is 2.58 over the error, which is 0.03. And then you want to square that answer. Now, one thing I want to remind you of before we plug this in is they gave us a p hat. Sometimes they don't give you any information on p hat. When you don't have any information on your proportion, then you want to use 50% and 50%. So I would change this 0.24 and 0.76 to 0.5 times 0.5 if I was not given the information for p hat. So keep that in mind. Now if we go to plug this in the calculator, don't forget to square it. You end up with 1349.03. Remember, we are doing sample size. You cannot sample part of a person. And even though that rounds to 1,349, that would not be enough people. You have to round up. So the correct answer for sample size would be 1,350. Now, this was a true-false problem. So if you go back up and you look, they said 1,100. So the correct answer for that would be false. We found that the sample size should have been 1,350.